Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Now let's get on to the content.
What is good, everybody? Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. This is which dynasty is more likable or less unlikable, however you want to word it. The reason why I chose to word it this way is because I feel like the majority of the country has nothing but bad things to say about both of these teams. So we can dumb it down to some good things maybe that come up, and maybe this question, the way it's worded, will help you nitpick a little bit and see some of the good things that both these teams do have. Obviously, both won back-to-back championships in the last 3 seasons. The Chiefs obviously did it in 2022 and 2023 before they fell to Philadelphia in the Super Bowl last year in blowout fashion, by the way. And also the Los Angeles Dodgers, they just completed their mission of back-to-back championships. They just beat the Toronto Blue Jays in 7 games. One thing I will say is that both these teams, obviously they know how to win because they wouldn't have won if they didn't know, but they do the little things right. Drafting, obviously signing, and in the Dodgers case, maybe they find it a little bit easier, and I'll get into that, but they've homegrown some of their talent as well. It's not that they just went out and been like, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you. And the Chiefs, man, they always seem to be active during free agency. I mean, you saw when they got blown out in the Super Bowl against the Tampa Bay Bucks in 2020 to 2021 season, they went out and fixed their offensive line in a jiffy. I mean, and then you saw, they lost in the AFC Championship to the Bengals the following year, but you saw the offensive line was much better. So I think that speaks volumes of both these organizations and how they operate, and you have to give them both credit. As much as it must, pain people to do it, you do have to give them a lot of credit for the seasons that they've had in the last 3 years. So, I'm going to go through each of the arguments, maybe what people find likable about them, what people don't find likable, and yeah, let's get into it, man. So, looking at the Dodgers, man, starting off with the likable side, some of their stars are very likable. I mean, Mookie Betts has always been a great, fun guy, and I've always been a fan of his. Freddie Freeman's one of my favorite players in the league, and he's one of the most humble superstars. I want to touch on him in a minute, but Shohei Ohtani, he's humble and respected. You never really see him too outspoken, and I'm not saying that just because he can't speak English. He's just never been cocky, over the top, and whatnot. And I think they've had a few off-field scandals, but very few, and that's not publicized, I guess, if you want to call it that. This is just my experience of seeing online. I mean, they've always been pretty chill, not obnoxious. But again, this is not a huge point for me because I think every fan base does have obnoxious trolls a part of it. So I think with Dodger fans, I've never seen them be too over the top about it. I mean, they're just celebrating a World Series title, and you can't hate on anybody for that. They're built well. Clayton Kershaw, I've always been a big fan of his as well. I'm ampy, but I'm left-handed for throwing, so I've always kind of admired Clayton Kershaw because he's obviously lefty as well. I always kind of root for those lefties. Same goes for the NFL, the lefty quarterbacks. Unfortunately, I rooted for Tua, but he's just not bringing it, man. So, I mean, they are built well. I don't want to say they don't buy it because in the sense they do have the highest payroll. I'll get into that in a minute, but you cannot hate Freddie Freeman. I mean, there's no way you can hate him. I mean, this dude has been a 2-time World Series MVP, a 3-time champion. He's very clutch, and on top of that, he's a humble superstar, man. I mean, he lost his mother at age 13, and his story is remarkable, man. And I think his dad also was going through something at that time. Man, his story is amazing. I really admire guys that really have a story behind them, and they've grown up to be, first of all, a great player, but a great person as well. And Freddie Freeman, I don't think you can hate him. You can hate that he went to the Dodgers from the Braves, but, at the end of the day, that's best for him in his career, and you got to respect that. So, Freddie Freeman, he's good in my book. I think there's also a sense of respect. I mean, this can be looked at as a good and bad way, but starting off with a good way, I think a lot of people, with Shohei Ohtani in particular, I think a lot of people kind of appreciate his greatness more than hate on it. I mean, yeah, there's some haters out there because, he had that scandal, I think, with his translator and whatnot. And then, obviously people hated his move from Anaheim to LA. But at the end of the day, you have to respect Shohei Ohtani. In my opinion, he's on the way to being the greatest player ever lived. And you can respect that and what he can do. But also, I think, unlike the Chiefs, unlike maybe Patrick Mahomes, his greatness, and Pat Mahomes, people acknowledge his greatness, so I'm one of the guys that do too, but I think the thing about Shohei Ohtani is a little bit more people are showing some appreciation. Everybody will talk about Shohei Ohtani when he's gone, and he'll go down as it could be the sport he's playing, maybe one person doesn't have such a huge, impact on a team the way in football or definitely basketball does. There are games where he does carry the Dodgers, but he has the sense of you can appreciate his greatness. And then, you look at their fan base. Like I said, they're not over the top obnoxious. They're just obnoxious when they're celebrating their World Series title, and that's totally fine. But there's a side to them that also people don't like. The unlikable side is that they have a massive, massive payroll. And a lot of people look at that as, oh, why are you spending this much money? I may be jealous, like, oh man, like we don't have the resources for that. But at the end of the day, man, you look at like the no salary cap, the unfair edge, that's real. Like I said, the second highest team I think was 228 million less, and that was the New York Mets, and they missed the playoffs. So that shows that money doesn't always buy championships. It comes from like a collective unit, and that's even harder to do in baseball because you have to get hot at the right time. It's difficult, man. So yeah, you get a little bit of a cocky vibe from the Dodgers, as you would any winning team. It's not just like, I mean, the Philly, like, let's look at the Philadelphia Eagles last year. I mean, I have no hatred towards the Eagles, but you can't tell me nobody thought they were cocky. Like, it happens when you win. And especially when you're a dynasty like this, you get the vibe of being cocky, and it is what it is. And it's also just easy to hate dominant teams. Why everybody hates the Chiefs? Why everyone hates the Buckeyes right now? That's just how sports are. There's villains, and the villains, unfortunately, they usually win. I mean, there are some instances where the hero has won in sports, but for the most part, it's the villains. The Rams, I mean, they bought their whole team. As much as it pains me, they bought their whole team, and they won the Super Bowl against us. Like, that just happened. They're viewed as villains because they win. So it is easy to hate them, you know, the dominant team. But at the end of the day, man, they're not like breaking any rules or anything. I mean, I definitely think baseball needs a salary cap, and I'll touch on that. But then you look at Shohei Ohtani. This guy went to the Dodgers, and like I said, it's looked at as both a good and bad thing because you got to see him play at the highest stage 2 years in a row and win back-to-back titles. But many people look at it as like, man, you're just hopping on the bandwagon. And that's just how people are going to look at it. That's just what it is. And they're going to be on the same team sometimes, and doesn't mean they're unbeatable. The Blue Jays were like they were 90 feet away from taking down the evil empire. Like, that's just how it operates. That's just how it goes. That's just how it is. That's how baseball is. In basketball, a lot of times the best team wins. Baseball, it's not like that. Football, it can be like that, but sometimes it differs in outcomes as well. So there's different instances where it does happen, but in baseball, it's very, very random and can't really predict it. But at the end of the day, I get why people are upset. I mean, you're hopping on the bandwagon. That definitely brings a lot of like controversy with it. So that's it as far as like the unlikable side of the Dodgers, why people may not like them, and another one of those scripted feelings, I guess, if that's what people want to say. But then we look at the Chiefs now on the likable side. So Mahomes, always been able to keep his cool. I've never thought that he was like over the top cocky. He's always showed respect to his opponents. He's always been, you know, a winner, brought a lot of consistency to the Chiefs. I mean, they've been to the conference title, what, like 8 straight years in his tenure there. So that's consistency. That's winning. That's what a culture looks like. You know, his rookie year, he sat out. He's willing to do whatever it takes. And, you know, you can respect that. Even though you may not like it, like I said, you can respect it. Think about all the popularity that's come from the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, I'll touch on this. The T Swift saga and whatnot. As a matter of fact, that's brought more fans to the NFL. Mr. Kelce, congratulations, by the way, on the proposal. And then the Swifties are really digging into the NFL. Some of them are following the Chiefs, some are following other teams, but they're getting involved. You know, people may look at that as a negative, but at the end of the day, they are getting involved. Some might not like it, but at the end of the day, it is producing numbers, and the NFL is all about money, as you know. Then we look at, obviously, Andy Reid. He's a phenomenal coach. He's a great person, too. I mean, these two guys, I never had a problem with them. I mean, 2022 title game still hurts, but, I mean, at the end of the day, they won. Definitely think there was controversy behind it, but I'm going to try to not hinder too much on that. I'm just going to focus on the fact that they won, and they've been very consistent. They've won 3 Super Bowls. They could have been, you know, four if they won the Eagles one last year, but they unfortunately got blown out. And yeah, they're a hell of a team, man. You can't deny it. I mean, they're figuring it out even this year. I mean, a slow start. I still think they're going to win the division. I'm telling you that right now. The Broncos, I mean, they're definitely the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC West, in my opinion. But the Chargers, I mean, they're climbing on as well. Like, you can't sleep on any team in the AFC West. I mean, the Raiders are not very good, but I mean, the Chiefs, like, they've run this division. So if I'm in the AFC West, I'm not ruling out KC. Very well not be a good team, but I think they'll figure it out. But we'll see what happens. Mahomes and Andy Reid, phenomenal duo. I mean, he's brought the most out of Mahomes, and Mahomes has, you know, really helped him win. And then we look at the unlikable side. I think some of this is true, by the way. They have the refs in their pockets. I totally get that because, in my opinion, the refs helped them win the 2022 AFC Championship against the Bengals. I'm sorry. You missed like 10 holding calls, the do-over 4th down. You can say that, oh, it wasn't a big deal. It most certainly, like, it could have shifted the time management and everything. You never know. But the do-over 3rd down, really? Like, come on. That's ridiculous. I'm usually not too big on this. Here's what I'll say. I'll defend Mahomes on this. You do what it takes. You know, like you can call him a flopper, you can call him a whiner. LeBron also, people say he flops. It can be annoying, don't get me wrong, but there was a play in the playoffs last year, Texas versus Chiefs. Mahomes, he stopped in bounds, and then the defender hit him out of bounds. And then I think he was looking for a flag or whatever. Like, people were hating on him like crazy. I think he's just playing the game the right way. Now, do I think sometimes he does whine to the officials? Yeah, but a lot of players do. It's not just Mahomes. You know, you look at Josh Allen, he was literally on the ground asking for a face mask or whatnot. So this stuff is very common among, like, you know, players. It's not just Mahomes. It's just that he gets more, you know, scrutiny over it because his team is so good the last, like, handful of years. So then we look at the personalities on the team. I mean, Travis Kelce is very, very polarizing. You know, people say he's an attention seeker. People say that he's, you know, cocky, arrogant. Even some Chiefs fans are not, you know, huge fans of him. Then you got the T-Swift attention from 2 years ago. That's also caused a lot of hatred and just, I guess, animosity towards, like, the Kansas City Chiefs as a whole because of how much attention they've got, how much they've showed T-Swift on the broadcast. I personally don't have a huge issue with that. And then also the off-the-field incidents. I mean, you got Rashid Rice, you got Kareem Hunt. They've both had their fair share. And the NFL maybe granted them a little bit of immunity, not too much, but a little bit. And then their fans, obviously, they do gloat a lot, which I think a lot of people view as insecure because they've won so many, but they've gloated a lot of the time. And, you know, for the most part, I've run into, there've been a healthy mix of Chiefs fans. Like, for me, like, I haven't really ran into too many, you know, annoying ones yet. They are a loyal fan base, even prior to the Mahomes years. Now, I think the bandwagons can go screw off, but prior to the Mahomes era, I mean, they definitely were like a loyal fan base. I mean, they broke the decibel record in 2014 against the Patriots. Like, this is not a pushover fan base without Mahomes. Like, this is a legit fan base. Like I said before, the ref incident is definitely a huge problem. I mean, Ron Tolbert is the worst referee in NFL history. I'm not even saying that because of Super Bowl 56. He is legitimately the worst referee I've ever seen. Just, he's awful. And we've touched on this many times, like Mahomes refs. You've seen all the AI memes that have been created with Mahomes, you know, kissing the ref and whatnot. And then you look at the T-Swift stuff, like I mentioned earlier. Like, again, I don't think there's anything really wrong with, you know, being there for your boyfriend. I know that she got booed at, I think, back-to-back Super Bowls. You know, she's got to see her team win in the first year of her being a fan, technically. I've seen many people say, like, oh my God, she's, like, so annoying and whatnot. I don't think she asked for the camera, but that's just what, again, that just all comes with the territory. I can understand why people get annoyed at it, but I don't think it's like her fault. But I think it's also that Travis Kelce is just very polarizing among individuals. Like, if this was like Josh Allen or somebody else, like, maybe it's a different tune. But the fact that it's Travis Kelce, nobody likes Travis Kelce outside of, like, Cincinnati, us Ohioans. I mean, I have no problem with Travis Kelce, but a lot of people do not like Travis Kelce. And even some Chiefs fans. I mean, there's obviously the handful that do like him, but there's a few that just kind of don't like his attitude. They love him as a player, obviously, because he's one of the greatest tight ends to ever live, but some may not be a fan of his, like, attitude. But again, at the end of the day, he's doing his job. The Chiefs do their job. You got to give them credit for how much success they've had. Regardless of what I may think about it, I mean, it's worked out. So kudos to them. I think also a lot of people, like I said, to mention the Rashid Rice off the field situation. That's a big talking point. I mean, the NFL suspended him like a few games and people were like calling for more. It was kind of like Deshaun Watson. I know that Deshaun got like super big headlines because of his, you know, off the field stuff, and rightfully so. But obviously Deshaun, I think, was like at 6 games, and it got appealed, and then he got 11 games and whatnot. So Rashid Rice, I mean, a lot of people felt like it should have been more, but it wasn't. And then again, that goes back to some of the NFL favoritism. Like, do they really favor the Chiefs? I mean, that's just a debate. I'll keep my thoughts to myself about everything that I guess I internally think, like, too deeply. I mean, I obviously will give you my thoughts. I don't want to dive too much on that because I might save that for another video, but I think it's also people are just looking for things to find in the Chiefs. That it's not that they're clean or anything, but it's just like people are just so fed up with them that you're going to look for excuses. And same with the Dodgers. I feel like people are finding ways to make them seem a little bit more unlikable than they are. Like, a lot of people are saying, like, Mookie Betts is unlikable. What is there not to like about him? That's just my gut feeling. But with all that said, guys, I think Chiefs fans, like I said, they're some of the most loyal group in sports. So I can't really hate on them for that. I mean, I'm not gonna say that their fans are like, oh, there was no Chiefs fans before, like, Mahomes. Like, that's not true. They've been loyal. There's some bandwagons that come along. I don't claim them Chiefs fans, They may not see this video, but I don't claim them Chiefs fans. I don't care what they say. So based on all the factors, guys, based on everything I get into, based on how much I consider each of them, less unlikable and more likable dynasty among the two, I am going with the Los Angeles Dodgers as the more likable dynasty. Here's why I will say that. The Dodgers, they definitely do spend the most, but they also do it within the rules. It's not that they've gotten it and then it's not that they've like said like removed the luxury tax and whatnot. Like, they've done things within the rules. It's not that they've cheated their way to a title. Neither have the Chiefs, but it's not like you can't, other than the fact that the MLB is not working out, you can't really hate on what the Dodgers are doing. And they've always carried themselves the right way. They're a class for an organization. Dave Roberts has always been a great manager as well. Like, they have a lot of personalities. They have hell of a personalities, but they got some likable dudes, man. I mean, you gotta appreciate Shohei Ohtani. He's on his way to being the greatest, in my opinion. But not to say the Chiefs, there's definitely some things to respect and like about the Chiefs too. I mean, I'm not going to say that they're just like the most unlikable team or whatnot, but I definitely do think that there's some likable things about both these guys. But to me personally, the Dodgers are more likable. And, like I said, I wanted to harp on this, but maybe I'm a little biased because of that rivalry with the Chiefs and how nasty it was for 2-3 years. It's kind of toned down a little bit now. It was a nasty rivalry for like 2-3 years. There was definitely a lot of trash talk. Some respect, of course, but a lot of trash talk between the two teams. And then obviously the Dodgers beat us in the playoffs this past year. But if the Reds had more of a rivalry with the Dodgers, maybe my tune would change. Like, I'm not going to guarantee you that it is because, like I said, the Dodgers, I mean, there's a lot of respect there for some of those guys. But, like, I like Mahomes, man. He's a footballer. You got to respect that. He's a ball hog. So respect to Mahomes. But, again, I do think that my tune may be different, or at least, because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't even think it's even close. And that could be because of the rivalry. It could be because the Reds don't have that quite of a rivalry with the Dodgers quite yet. At least they had a rivalry in the 70s, but that's history now. So, I do wonder if the tune would change. But anyway, I mean, that's really how I feel about it. I got the Dodgers as the more likable or less unlikable franchise. Before I go, I wanted to just ask you which dynasty is more likable or less unlikable. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. You guys have a good one. See you guys next time.
Hey, you watched the whole video. Thanks for that. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later.